Ralph, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
A new season, and the first question about team news. Is there anyone apart from Tino who's unavailable for Tottenham this weekend?
Theo Walcott hasn't had a pre-season so far, so he's not back in training so far, and Nathan Teller was also out with injury for longer. So he was training today the first time, so he would be also not available for the weekend.
So how excited are you about the new season with 6 new signings? You've changed the backroom team as well. Are you bullish about the new season?
Yeah, we're always looking forward to Premier League seasons, and we know how excited it is that it starts again, and that we are part of, and sure, we are excited.
None of your new signings, though, have played in the Premier League. Is that a risky rebuild?
The risk, I mean, we know the kind of players we get. They have, if you want, a lot of fantasy. They can help us immediately, or some take a little bit longer. We have seen this in the past, that some players need a year to adapt to the Premier League. Some are so good that it goes quicker. So we will not see all the new players immediately from the start. They are young, they have to learn, and but one or the other will get a chance to play immediately.
And is Gavin Bazunu at 20 ready to be your starting Premier League goalkeeper?
He's a good one, but I have still not made the decision, and you will see it on Saturday.
It would be a big call, wouldn't it? He's obviously very promising, but still so young.
Yeah, this is the fact. But as you know, our history, we are keen to give young players a chance to make their first steps in the Premier League, and this is what we did the last years. And you know what you have to expect from them: a lot of talent, a lot of effort, and in some moments maybe some mistakes, but they have to learn from and getting better. That costs you maybe sometimes a little bit of total performance, if you want. But for us, we were keen to do this in the past, and we will do it in the future also.
A number of Premier League clubs would seem to like to get hold of Kyle Walker-Peters. What would you say to any club who was interested in signing Kyle Walker-Peters right now?
Before we go now through every player who is maybe having an interest from somebody else or whatever, I think we should concentrate on the games that are coming up now. I know that the transfer window is still open for a long time, and this is something that will definitely affect your questions in the future, but for me it's more important to bring the players in the shape that they can compete in the Premier League, and this is the focus I have.
And the next game is Spurs. You were sensational there in February. What great memories you must have of that night, and can you do it again this weekend?
It was a great game for sure, one of our best last season, but there's nothing older than the success from yesterday, so you have to show again that you are able to compete, and we had a perfect game there, and we will have to have a nearly perfect to get something there.
Just one last one. The Premier League have changed the protocol about taking the knee before every Premier League game. What have the players said about that, and what do you think?
I think the message was that there's a phone call for somebody.
Sorry.
It's not only that you. Should I go? Should I pick it up?
It's my wife.
Yeah, she's your wife. That's right. Rude. Okay. Actually, she'll have to wake. Baby also.
Yeah.
Okay. So. No, I think it is a okay decision, because as always, everything that you get used to, it doesn't have the same impact that new things, and we will think about new things that we get remembered about what this is for, and so it's understandable that they want to change something.
Thank you.
Ralph, we know there's always been and is a lot of talent in the squad, but when that game at Spurs last season, the way you fought back, you had to show so much spirit, and knowing there is that spirit there in the group, how much of a bonus is it knowing it's there, and it just sort of needs to be harnessed or show itself more often, rather than presumably that's the sort of thing that you're always looking to find?
Yeah, and spirit you can create with good atmosphere indoor, but also with good results, and this helps massively. I mean, we are all Premier League clubs not exactly knowing where we are in the moment, and so the first games are coming now up, and then you have to show how good you are and how far you are in your development of your quality. And for quality, you need a good game plan, but as you said, also spirit and readiness. in the right moment, and therefore we have to do everything. I think this is the last 5 weeks. Every club is preparing for this first moment, and now we will see how far we are.
With the new players, and you say they're at various stages ready to make an impact, without sort of singling out one to put too much pressure on him, are you excited in the same way that you might have been at this stage last year about Tino being able to explode and get fans off their seats already, or?
We have to be careful always to not give too much pressure on them. I mean, it was not a disadvantage for Tino last season to step immediately in and play the first game without big conversations about it before. Nobody expected him to play there, and that definitely helps you in the beginning, I think, to be a little bit under the radar and then showing up surprisingly. But Premier League is tough. We play against a top team, and we will have to look who is ready for this game. And when we think he is, then we take the, I don't want to say risk, but we take the advantage to give him the chance to play. But when we have shown something in the past that we want to build them up carefully, and this flower that is growing to take care of it, because it should grow for longer here in this club.
And on the opposite side to Tino, I suppose, is Roman Perro ready? Is he okay to play?
Romain has had an injury at the end of last season and missed some parts of the pre-season now. I think nearly the half of the time he missed. But the last 2 weeks he was training, and so he's now coming closer to be an option. And that's a good thing.
Thank you. Adam?
The thing I remember most about that win in February was how brilliant your midfield were, the movement from the 10s and the 6s, and Spurs didn't know what to do with them. Now you spent the summer with your 3 at the back and changed things a little bit, lots of practice with 3 centre-halves. How much of that have you done because of your annoyance at the amount of goals you've conceded, because it's always annoyed you for a couple of years now?
Yes. I mean, this is absolutely the key, that if you want to be more successful, then you have to concede less goals. I mean, this is not such a big secret. Everybody knows this. It's a low-scoring sport, and when you don't concede, you have a bigger chance for taking more points. And this is the reason why we are trying to get more and more stable. But as always, this is not one way to go. There are always more ways to be successful in the defense, and we tried it very often with a high pressing shape. It worked quite well for a long time, and then in some moments in the game, it was damaged because of a quality action from the opponent and hard to defend in any way. So there's no guarantee now. Then we play a different shape. If we play it, that we then concede less goals. But we have worked especially on some details. I must say that also the new coaches in my staff put a lot of effort in to make these guys better defending. And this is a way we go now, and this is the way we want to get better in developing our players that we have. And finally, we will see how often we are able to have clean sheets, to concede less goals than last season.
You're about to start your 4th full season as Saints manager. You've kept them up for 4 with the half a season to start with. Already out of the last 10 they've been. But where are you now with your ambition, with your expectation compared to the other seasons? Are you more positive because you've been able to spend a bit of money in the market and so on, or the same? Is it still stay up first and everything else?
No, the respect from the league is for this league is such a high one from my side, that I am very careful with the expectations in my team always. What has never changed since I'm here is the effort we put it in after having a break, getting back the energy, recharging the batteries. When I see how much we have done in the preseason and how the players were working, then you have to say it was a very good preseason. We had some others also, and then what had a tough start because we are facing immediately very good opponents. Also last season we had a good start, I think, with a lot of draws. So didn't win for a long time, but you could feel that there is something growing, and this was okay. And we know how tough it is, but I think the good thing when you are that long in the league is that you know a lot about it, and you know a lot about opponents, about the positions, and about the quality, and it makes you settled in the end, but without losing the illusion that every year more is possible for us.
Are you glad you've got a run of games without an international break after a couple of weeks? Is it quite nice for you to be able to plan for these 6 weeks?
I think especially the first international break was absolutely something that no manager was happy about. So this is definitely, I think, something that can be useful for getting in better rhythm, and we are full of energy, so this is okay.
Just finally, you've openly talked about looking for another striker. So I was thinking, why don't you just give Timo Werner a ring, who Chelsea don't seem to want him? You could bring him on loan for the season. Let's get some quality in, and you could get the best out of him again, like you did before.
Yeah, nice try. But as I said before, I'm here not today to speak about this or that player. We know that there are some good players out there, and we have our eyes open. The transfer market is open for another 30 days nearly, or something like that.
Too many, yeah.
It's too many, definitely. But we have done our job so far. That doesn't mean that you don't want to do on other positions something again. But it's now the moment to concentrate on the games, and this is for me more important.
Nick, Ralph, what do you make of Antonio Conte and what he's doing with Spurs and how he's bringing them on? Obviously, he's sort of won things wherever he's gone. Do you think he's taking Tottenham in the right direction? Are they more of a challenge now than they would have been previously?
I think so. It was impressive that they had last season managed to come in the Champions League. I mean, it didn't look for a long time that they can do it, but then with a impressive run of wins, they managed to come back and to make this step even higher. I think it was our performance against them to rate, to be honest, because they have been in good mode when they played against us, and we showed that we can be resilient and strong against them. But he does a fantastic job there, and had also an interesting transfer window so far. Spent a lot of money on the players he wanted, and this is a team that is normally with the squad able to grab for the highest trophies in the league.
Would you rather that the transfer window was shut before the season started, or is that just a fact of life now with the Premier League?
No, I think I'm not so sure about the effect on the prices when it's long that open. So some other clubs will also look for the first games, how strong they are or what weakness they have, and then the prices, I'm not sure if they're going down then or going up again. So the market is sometimes a little bit stupid and strange, but for us it was a good thing that we could do this season some things what we normally couldn't only do after we have sold a few players. This was the different this season, I must say, and that helps you definitely to get some players in what you wish you can get, and what also makes sense for us. I think I'm still have the opinion that 40-50 million transfers are making no sense for us. But quality to get, and if it's young, okay, no problem, take it. And this is the way we want to go. And this is good that we have done our job so far. But as I said, the transfer window is open that long. When we do it, then we have enough time to do it.
Lewis?
Hi, Ralph. The last few seasons, I think it's fair to say, they've been inconsistent, great in some spells, poor form in others. As a coach, how hard is it to find that consistency when the recruitment is a lot of inexperienced players in this level?
It is not because of this very hard. It's because of the quality of the opponents very hard to have consistent in the Premier League, because that would mean that we are in some regions in the table where it is very, very tough to be there. I mean, there are teams that spend massive money in not only young talented players, in players they have shown that they are competing in the Premier League, and we could still manage to keep them very long behind us. But then you could see in the end of the season that also the quality is then also the decisive factor, if you want. And this was then the problem for us last season, especially the longer the season goes. We feel always that in the end we are a little bit breaking down with our qualities and with our performances. But again, we are full of energy now. We are going again, and we want to keep it on the highest level as long as possible.
Will that impact the way that you set up your team? Because you're right, they tailed off in terms of energy towards the end of last season, didn't it? Has that been part of your thinking with the change of shape?
No, I think it doesn't have to mean something physically. It's a little bit mentally also. In some moments, there can be 1-2 results. They are not going in your direction that can give you a little bit of a break, and then you it's hard to find it back in the track. This was the problem last season, I think, in the end. But we had also some moments where we played unbelievable football, where we had unbelievable results against former champions or actually champions in the Premier League. So this is also something we can count for us and we can take in this season.
Just one more. You changed your backroom setup, coaching setup's completely changed. What are you looking for from your new team that you weren't getting last season from the previous guys?
I've said it a few times that doesn't mean that I haven't got what I wanted to get last season or the seasons before, because what we have done was an unbelievable job in the last 4 years here. So, but what I wanted to give the players was a new voice on the pitch and something new, some new inputs, some new methods that they get again, interested in what we are doing here, because when you are that long in the club, you have to re-find yourself all the time, because there's nothing more boring than here every 365 days the same. I mean, what I have learned, I've never worked that long in a club, is that you have to find new things all the time, to get new things all the time, and this is what they deserve to get, my players or our players, and this is what we have done with the new coaches, and I'm very happy that they're here.
Okay, we'll move on to the second section, embargo for 10:30 this evening. Jacob, we'll start with you.
Hi Ralph, when you went on holiday at the end of last season, what was your overriding emotion?
Say it again, please.
When you went on holiday at the end of last season, what was your overriding emotion? What's the thing that you felt you needed to address when you came back?
Energy at first. I was really empty because it was a tough and long season, and some new ideas, what we can change, what we can do better. A very good analysis of the last season, always helpful. There is not a lot of time during the season to do this. There is only time in the break. After a few weeks at first stepping out of football, and you feel that the energy is coming back, and then you do it again, and then you feel that with every day that's coming closer to the start of the league, that you get more and more in the habits you have to be a Premier League manager. And then this is the thing that drives us, that makes us doing this job, hoping, making all the people they are going with this club proud, and proud of what we are doing here and how we are playing, and we want to show that we are again able to compete.
I think a couple of years ago you said your favourite squad size would be between 18 and 20 players. You've now got 28 players, I think. Do you see that as a concern?
Last season it was a fact that we tried to have a bigger squad because of COVID. The problem was then that in the winter they cancelled the games, although we had enough players, but the opponent didn't. So it was not really an advantage for us, and in the end it was a problem, because at the end of the season I had to put 3, 4, 5 players sometimes on the stands, and this is never good for a team. So it is a right balance between 18 and 20. I'm definitely convinced that it's still the fact, and we will see what happens in the future. I mean, when some players then have not a chance to be in the squad, although we have 5 subs every game now, what is also good for them, we will see what happens then.
How easy or difficult are you finding it to move players on?
It depends how the market will be at that moment. Sure, there will be, after the first games, players on the market, they have no chance to play, and then they will look for other clubs. But there's always something, or some clubs, they are going then for these players.
You spoke about wanting to concede less goals. Do you feel like you're now shifting towards a more defensive model rather than relying on pressing all the time?
When you speak about football without pressing, this will not work. You have to have high midfield or deep pressing. And it is definitely everywhere on the pitch. You need to have a little bit pressure on the ball because otherwise the opponents are too strong to defend them. So it will never work without it. If it's always on the highest and first line, this is the question, and this will adapt from game to game for sure.
And just finally, I know a lot of guys have spoken about the away game at Spurs, but also the home game was quite telling because you went to a back three and it seemed to work before Salisu got sent off. Do you see that as a template for this weekend?
No, we will definitely have a few shapes that are interesting for us. We are not focused on only one shape, and it will depend what we need also in the game that we are able to switch it and to have different opportunities. But yeah, we will see what we do.
Alfie?
Thank you, Jordan. Good afternoon, Ralph. You've explained your predominantly change of shape to the 3-5 at the back, but I was wondering what point in the summer were those decisions taken and who was involved in those conversations?
Yeah, it is always a scanning of what the opportunities you have in the team, of the way we want to be defending, especially deeper, in what way you want to do it, and the advantages that you have or not have. And as I said, when you defend deeper, yes, this can be a little bit easier with the back five. When you want to press high, it's definitely not the perfect shape to do this, and especially in the home games when we want to be active. This is our DNA. We want to be on the front foot and holding the opponent far away from our goal. This is a little bit harder with this shape, I think.
With that in mind, when you operate in the transfer market, the players you've already signed, the players you've tried to sign, are they all players that you see being able to operate in several shapes, flexible?
Yeah, it's never a disadvantage if you can play different positions as a player. This always helps to be available for a manager to. But we had definitely also in the preseason a little bit looking on what we want to play and what strikers we need or what players we need then.
I spoke to Dave Horseman from the B team on Tuesday, and he explained that the 4-2-2-2, your shape, is still the predominant playbook for the academy youngsters. So is that telling that there's still a long future with you at this club and with that shape in your first team?
Yeah, this is definitely right, and it should be always the way we want to go. And that does not mean that we step away from this way of playing football, because it's a little bit our DNA now in this club, and we were working very hard to implement this, and you could see the benefit from the youth also, how the under 18 was playing last season. So it's definitely something very successful, and we are very proud of what we are doing in this part. But that does not mean that we are in the first team only this one-dimensional and only play this one shape. It's not possible.
Jacob mentioned the size of the squad, but you've got 4 first-team goalkeepers at the moment. Is the plan still to have 4 working with Andrew Sparks by the end of the summer?
The group is good. The group is very good, I must say. They are really. We have 2 experienced ones and 2 young ones, so it's quite a dynamic atmosphere there, and good for every goalkeeper. And Andrew does a good job there, and we will see what happens. Yes, we need to give everybody a chance to play, and as you know, there's only one that can play, and the others are then not so happy. But we will see what we do.
Just finally from me, if I may, just on Will Smallbone, obviously had a really good pre-season with you in Austria, has gone out. So how closely will you follow his progress and what you're hoping to see from him?
Yeah, I hope to see him playing a lot, to be honest. It was not so easy to say, okay, you can go, because I think he did a good pre-season, and especially in this shape on the 8, he was a player who showed his quality. It was a perfect position for him, so it was not so easy then to say, okay, we still let you go. But it is still tough to get a chance to play here, and because there are some good players waiting to play on this position here, and then it's not so easy for him. And then for a young player especially, it's important to get some more game time, and that's the reason why we then agreed to the loan deal.
Thank you, Ralph.
Hi Ralph, cheers John. I wanted to ask you about the more experienced players in the squad. Obviously a lot of the players that you brought in are quite young. How important is it going to be for those, James Ward-Prowse, Ori as well, to really show those guys what you have to do on the pitch when the first whistle goes on Saturday?
No, that's a good thing. The longer you are in the club, the older the players are getting. So the more experience you get. Because meanwhile, I play with some players here for 4 years, and you can say they played a lot of games, and now they are the experienced ones. When I was coming, they were the talented ones. So it is, you see, it goes quick. You don't need to buy experience. You can create experience, and in the end, we have a good balance. I think a good mixture. We have some players that have definitely seen a lot in the Premier League. They know about the quality. They know about what is going on there, and the others don't need to know it. They need to learn it and to feel it and to make the experience to go there and to show up.
And with the new coaches as well, you said you wanted that kind of different voice on the sidelines. Is that what they can offer as well? Is making sure those younger players have that game management and you can hear that voice as well?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, this is not that these new coaches have not made their experience. I mean, Ruben, for example, was, when you think, everywhere around the world, so he has a lot of experience in coaching, and for me it was important that we get quality also there. And with Karl from their own club, who knows our philosophy, who knows our principles, is also a good adaptation to the team. And no, they are working hard, and this is good, and so should the young players do.
Ralph, you touched on the 5 subs. I just wanted to ask, your teams are known for a really energetic, physical style. Does that change your thinking at all in the way you manage the 90 minutes, the possibility to use extra subs?
Yeah, definitely. It gives you a few more opportunities to change things. The opponent also has, but as you know that we are trying to play a very intense way of pressing, then it is definitely helpful when you can sub the 2 strikers in the halftime and bring 2 fresh ones. So this is definitely something that will happen this season. I don't know how often, but it will happen for sure.
And obviously you've brought some new players to the club, but I know also at this time of year you always give the opportunity to academy players to become more heavily involved in the pre-season. Would you say that any of them have really staked a claim perhaps to be in the match day squad, possibly, from what you've seen in the last few months?
I don't know, but we had, for example, this week a game against our under-23. We try to look at them. Some players have been with us in the trainings camp in Austria, and sure, they will also get chances to train with us, to work with us. We will try to make some games also for the players they haven't played, so internal games. And the communication is a good one. The relationship is good, and this should be the way.
And just final question for me: with the sort of first pre-season with the new ownership, has it been a different experience for you, perhaps, in terms of maybe having more regular contact with some of the people involved and talking about plans and things like that?
Oh, not so much for me than for Martin, I think. Martin was a little bit more involved with Rasmus and Henrik and Ragnar, so this is a normal thing. But no, I must say that the communication is good. We have still short ways of doing things. This is important, I think. It makes you flexible, it makes you active. And so far, I think it was a good adaptation.